Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Castle Cold Brew Sports Podcast channel. My name is Castle345, and I am excited to bring you another draft. Obviously, we did the 14 team draft last week or earlier this week. This one is a 12-team PPR league that I just joined today. We have the fourth pick, and I'm okay with it. I have the fourth pick in a couple of leagues, and honestly, I feel like picks 1, 2, and 3 are really easy, and then pick 4, 5, and 6 is really tricky, and then 7 through 12 is like, it's not as easy, but it's not as punishing. So if you get it wrong in this first 4 picks, or these mid picks, I think it's really sketchy. So we'll see how this goes. I know that McCaffrey and Cook and Kamara are probably going to be the first 3 off the board. If they're not, and one of them is available, I will take one of them. But I do think they're going to be taken off the board. And then I'm very torn on the other one, or on who I'm going to take. Like, I like Derrick Henry, but I think if he doesn't get the same amount of touchdowns as he got last year, which is 17, he's going to face some regression. And that concerns me. And I think he needs to hit 17 touchdowns and 2,000 yards to be as good as his ADP. And I'm just not sure that he's going to hit that again. He's a phenomenal player. He's a phenomenal talent. He's going to do really well this year. I just don't think he's going to be good enough to take as a fourth pick. So my options at the fourth pick outside of him are, I could potentially reach and take like Kelsey or Adams, but I don't really want to do that. I do want a running back. It's just the question of which running back do I want. And it's down to Ezekiel Elliott, Austin Eckler, and Derrick Henry. Like, it's going to be one of these 3 guys. The other thing about this is, since it is a 12 team, I know that my second pick is very unlikely to be a running back unless somebody falls pretty far. So maybe I just go for the safe pick of Henry, because I do think that Henry is a fairly safe pick. Like, he's going to get you points every week, barring injury.
Welcome to the best day of the year, draft day.
Hello, Matthew Berry. So that's clearly the correct decision there, is McCaffrey off the board first. I think every other draft I do is going to be on Sleeper. So we'll be able to, have the full draft board up and have it be a little bit nicer for you guys to look at. I have one more that's going to be on ESPN. Every other draft that we do is going to be on Sleeper. I like Sleeper a lot more for drafts, and I just like the Sleeper app better overall. I don't know if Lami is here. It doesn't say he ever joined the draft. I wonder if he... I mean, it's going to auto-pick him, Dalvin Cook. But I'm confused because he normally doesn't miss things. Oh, he just joined. That's funny. So he took Kamara. I think I think that's a reasonable choice. I know that he talked to me a little bit before the draft. That's the co-host of our podcast, one of them. That's Lami. I do believe that he was a little bit worried about Dalvin Cook overall. He didn't know if Dalvin Cook could stay healthy. I think Dalvin Cook would have been my pick there, but obviously we just saw Dalvin Cook go pick 3. So now we're in this situation where we have to make a choice, and I don't love it. I don't love this position to be in right now because I feel like Henry feels like the obvious go-to. I lean a lot towards Austin Eckler here because he's going to catch a lot of passes. But I'm not. It's just the question of, is he going to catch enough passes to outscore Derrick Henry? Is he going to stay healthy enough to outscore Derrick Henry? And then there's Zeke, who has all the tools to be just as good as both. Like, he's the best of both worlds. So I'm honestly gonna. The other thing about Zeke that you guys need to know is I have Zeke in a dynasty league already.
Quick, make your pick.
But I'm still gonna take Zeke. I think Zeke is the correct choice here. I don't think there's really a wrong choice between him and Henry and Eckler. It really just depends on who you prefer to go with. I don't like Barkley at pick 4. I don't really like Barkley in the first round, unless it's like pick 12. Definitely not in a 10-teamer, but in a 12-teamer, I'm not a huge fan of Barkley in the first round. He has infinite upside, but that Giants O-line is the worst O-line in the league, potentially. I mean, it could be, there might be one or two lines that are comparable, like Bengals come to mind, Bears come to mind, Jags come to mind, but that's a really bad offensive line. So everybody's going to stack the box. They don't really have wide receivers that can separate. After Derrick Henry, Travis Kelce went at pick 6, and then Devontae Adams went at pick 7, which makes sense to me. Saquon Barkley just went off the board at pick 8. That's a reasonable time for Barkley to come off the board, but I would still take Eckler over him. I would take Aaron Jones over him. I wouldn't take Jonathan Taylor over Barkley. I think that's a good spot for Barkley to go. Everybody just wants to see a good year out of Barkley. I think a good year out of Barkley would be good for the NFL and good for fantasy, but I'm not sure that we're going to see it because that offensive line is just so bad, and Daniel Jones is not scary. So, this guy's choice is kind of tough because it's really just Austin Eckler and Aaron Jones. I truly believe that Jonathan Taylor should be a second round pick based on the injuries to the Colts. Is this guy an auto picker? Sure looks like it. Or maybe he picked at the last second. He did take Jonathan Taylor, so I'm not sure. Aaron Jones is a good pick there. I still think Eckler should be gone. And not just because I was considering Eckler, at pick 4, but I think that he should be gone before this point. The only leagues I think Eckler shouldn't be taken in the first 10 picks is dynasty leagues, because he's a bit older and his injury history is a little concerning. You definitely want younger guys, but I mean the ADPs are totally different in dynasty. I think Eckler's like a 3rd round pick or something. Who we got? Wow, that was an early Najee Harris pick. Pick 11 just took Najee Harris at pick 11. That makes a lot of sense to me. Not even in a keeper league, in a dynasty league, that makes a lot of sense to me. I don't necessarily think that was what it's definitely not what I would have done with Eckler on the board, with Chubb on the board, with Antonio Gibson on the board. These are all guys I like much more than Najee Harris, but I do understand the pick. He's supposed to be big time volume. He's supposed to be the guy that is the guy in Pittsburgh, and Tomlin doesn't really like to feed multiple running backs. And I just like Najee Harris as a guy. I've been a big fan of him since the draft. But yeah, so now we're looking at team logs, round 1 final pick in the first round. Is he here is the question. Nope, he's auto picking. Okay. Well, he auto picked Austin Eckler and Nick Chubb. Those are some great auto picks. It doesn't get much better than that. Wow. Okay, so he also reached down a bit for Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Team Tarta. He took Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Najee Harris. And to an extent, if he likes those guys, he has to take them now or he's not going to get them. So I understand why he would take them if he likes them. I, though, am not a gigantic fan of those 2 picks where he was at. And then Tyreek Hill went right after. James Robinson went at pick 3. That's early for him, isn't it? I think he's going to be good. What team was that? Be more call the Cavalry. I just want to see what his ADP is right now. Doesn't really tell me. Okay. Well, I think it's too early for Robinson, but I do think he's going to be good. So this guy obviously has Aaron Jones plus James Robinson, so that's going to be pretty solid. I just would have probably taken... I would have taken Gibson over Robinson. There's no way that Gibson falls to me, right? That would be... Okay, so that would be an interesting situation for a couple of reasons if Gibson fell to me. One would be because I have him in my Dynasty League and Zeke. So I would literally have the same exact 2 running backs as I do in that Dynasty League. I wouldn't be mad at it. They're both incredible. And if Antonio Gibson falls to me, I'm snap picking him. But it would be nice to get, a couple of different players. if he does get taken, I'm looking at Justin Jefferson. I'm looking at Calvin Ridley. I'm looking at DK. He took David Montgomery over Antonio Gibson. This is like next level, bro. I don't know what's going on. No offense to anybody who's drafting. Like, obviously, if people have decided that they like these guys more, I get it. But Gibson is incredible. Okay, Gibson just went. That's what I expected. DeAndre Hopkins just went. So, man, we're looking at Calvin Ridley. We're looking at Justin Jefferson. Joe Mixon's on the board, but I'm not a big fan. I like the tight ends, but I'm not going to take them over. It's just Calvin Ridley, man. Calvin Ridley has all the potential in the world to be the number one wide receiver this year. He lost Julio out of that offense. He gets Pitts, and I think Pitts is going to be good, but he's not going to take the kind of attention that Julio took. So that's, potentially a thing against Ridley because he's going to have to see number one coverage. But I think he's going to cook some people. Calvin Ridley is going to be really good. I'm happy to have him on the team. Now, the next pick we're looking at, hopefully getting, it would be super cool if either Metcalf, Brown, Jefferson, any of those guys fell to me. I would be super happy. But I could also be happy with a multitude of other players. DK Metcalf just went. I agree with that. Terry McLaurin is a guy I would be really happy about. Honestly, Keenan Allen is a very safe pick. If you're in a situation in round 3 where you want a safe player, Keenan Allen is the safest, one of the safest wide receivers in the entire draft. But I love Terry McLaurin's upside. I think Terry McLaurin could be a top 5 wide receiver. There's not really any running backs I'm interested in taking at this stage, which is kind of unfortunate because we're gonna probably have a weaker running back too. But there's a lot of running backs I like, kind of in this area. Kareem Hunt is a guy that I enjoy. Gus Edwards is a guy that I like a lot. He doesn't get the passing down work that you would want from a running back 1, but he's a running back 2. You got Mike Davis, who's supposed to be a bell cow. I like Damian Harris, not that I trust him, but I do like him. I just think you definitely need to handcuff him. Okay, Justin Jefferson went at 21. That's expected, and I agree with that. Is Marvin Jones' ADP really that much higher than it was before? He's going at pick 85. He was going in the 16th round a week ago. I think a lot of people have figured out that Marvin Jones was really good fantasy-wise last year. And now, he's in a worse situation, but they're going to throw the ball a lot because they're going to be behind a lot. Darren Waller went the pick. Okay, Joe Mixon went right after Justin Jefferson, and then Darren Waller went right after Joe Mixon. And I'm sure Lami is not thrilled about that because I know he loves Waller. Ugh. But let's see what he does. I like that there's 1-minute rounds because it's not going to take quite as long. So he went Allen Robinson over A.J. Brown and Terry McLaurin and Keenan Allen. That is an interesting choice. He is going to have the best quarterback play he's had his entire career. Keenan Allen went. I think that's really good, but man, do I take A.J. Brown or Terry McLaurin here? I obviously also love CeeDee Lamb, but I don't know that I would take CeeDee Lamb over these guys. I did not expect both McLaurin and A.J. Brown to be here. I could also take Kittle. This league has wide receiver, tight end, and a flex, so it's not unreasonable that I man, it's tough because Kittle gives you the clear-cut, best tight end left in the draft. But McLaurin represents a huge amount of points. I think I'm just going to say I'm going to look for Hawkinson later. I'm going to take McLaurin here. I think that is an incredible... Did it not pick him? No, it did. Okay. I think Calvin Ridley and Terry McLaurin is an incredible 1-2 punch at wide receiver. Obviously, yes, wide receiver is one of the... if it's not the least important position, it's one of the... It's running back's the most important. And then I guess tight end is kind of important, but in this league where you have 3 wide, you're basically going to be playing 4 wide receivers because you have wide receiver, tight end, and a flex. So you're going to play at least 3 wide receivers, but chances are you're going to end up playing 4 wide receivers. George Kittle went immediately after I took Terry McLaurin. I could have probably thought a little bit harder about George Kittle, but honestly, I really like TJ Hawkinson, and he's going to be probably available right around when I pick next, 61. So in not my next pick, but in my pick after that, he's a guy that I could potentially take. Another guy that I have on my Dynasty League team, which is funny because, I might have him and Elliott from that team, but that's okay. The team that I have in this Dynasty League I keep talking about, I inherited from somebody, so I just inherited some of the guys that he had. Actually, I have McLaurin on that team too. So I've got Zeke, Gibson, McLaurin, Hawkinson. It's a pretty good team. CeeDee Lamb just went at pick 32. That seems good. Round 3, pick 7. Chris Carson went right after him. Miles Sanders went right after him. I think one of those was auto picks though. But that's about right for both of them. Josh Jacobs just went. I don't really like Josh Jacobs. I'm staying away from Josh Jacobs most of the time. But yeah, it looks like we have 2 auto pick teams, which is always interesting. My glasses have like a spot on them. I can't see what's going on because I'm blind. Still just Josh Jacobs. Team Tata. This guy has... he picked Chris Godwin, and then Robert Woods went to auto pick, and Mike Evans went to the auto pick. So Team Logos is one of the auto picks. Team Logs. And he's got Eckler, Chubb, Woods, and Evans. That's a pretty good team. Who's the other one? The Liberators? Afghan Liberators, what a name. And he's got Jonathan Taylor, Miles Sanders, Tyreek Hill. All right, his team's all right. Obviously, you never love to see auto picks, but things happen. Amari Cooper just went. Yeah, people are taking a lot of wide receivers. It is a little bit more valuable of a position because of how many people you're playing in this league. Like, I probably am going to go another running back in the next round, but then I'm going to look to tight end, and then I'm probably going to load up at receiver. I might take another couple running backs, but I'll probably save my running back depth for like late pick running backs. Okay, so the Liberators took DeAndre Swift. VD took Patrick Mahomes. That is the latest I've seen Mahomes go in a while. I think that's a good time for Mahomes to go, though. I wonder why I didn't see him in the... I wonder if his ADP is just really low on ESPN. It is weird because most drafts, he goes earlier. I didn't even realize he was still on the board because I'm just never interested in taking Mahomes. Chase Edmonds is not a guy that I would have taken here. I think definitely if you're looking running back here, I am looking at Gus Edwards. I may go quarterback if he's available. I'm usually not a proponent of taking quarterbacks in the first 4 or 5 rounds, but I think Josh Allen is a special talent. And being that this is a league where you're just playing one quarterback, I might just go quarterback here. Gus Edwards just got taken. Okay, that's one guy I really liked. Because my alternative here, Cooper Kupp just got taken. I was literally going to say my alternative here is Cooper Kupp or Deontay Johnson, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and lock in my starting quarterback. I may not take a running back this round. I might get one in the next cluster of picks. Hopefully me taking Josh Allen there will kind of start the run on quarterbacks. I really want to be able to take... Okay, Adam Thielen just went right after me. I didn't miss Hawkinson getting taken, did I? think he was. No, okay. Hawkinson is right here with Mark Andrews. I like Mark Andrews too, but I think Hawkinson is just going to get way more volume. There's also Kyle Pitts right here, which I think if, like, say, for example, Hawkinson were to get sniped from me here, I would be pretty happy taking Pitts too, but I don't really want to take Pitts on the same team that I have Ridley. And there's certainly not any running backs that I'm super excited about. Like, Kareem Hunt's good, but if you're asking me would I rather have TJ Hawkinson or Kareem Hunt, it's Hawkinson all day. It's a harder decision between him and Pitts, but Pitts by all means looks like he is potentially a massive stud. So that'll be fun I'm really excited to see how Pitts plays. That's a guy that I'm really excited to watch. He's just athletically gifted. Myles Gaskin went after Thielen, and then Tyler Lockett went after Myles Gaskin. Unfortunately, here I have to decide between a wide receiver I really like and a tight end that I really like. And that's rough. Well, there's a couple of wide receivers that I really like. Seminole Vesicle. Man, people's names. I don't know, man. My names so far for my teams are Tua, Born to be Wild, DJ Moore, oh, I didn't mean to say Tata. Oh. So Lami's on the clock. DJ Moore just went after Tyler Lockett. I like that. I'm a little lower on DJ Moore than I was a little bit ago, mostly because I think Terrace Marshall is going to garner some targets. Terrace Marshall, he's looked really, really good in the preseason. Deontay Johnson went. I like him a lot. I would have considered him if I wasn't super in on Josh Allen. So if we don't get sniped right here from getting TJ Hawkinson, yeah, I took Javonte Williams. Excuse me. So we're gonna go ahead and lock in TJ Hawkinson. I'm pretty comfortable with locking him in over Mark Andrews. I think he's going to be very good. And now we've got a tight end. We got a quarterback. We can just load up on wide receiver and running back. We're definitely going to take a running back with our next pick. Or it's going to go running back and wide receiver for our next two picks. We just have to decide based on who's available. I'll go over a couple of names I really like. Okay. So Relax Bro is picking. So we're probably looking down in like the 70s. That's where we're going to pick next. And running backs that I like are few and far between. You could take a risk on Darrell Henderson, but I'm not a huge fan of that. Raheem Mostert's going to give you a couple of games where he does well, but I don't see him being healthy for an entire season. So there's that to worry about. You've got like Sony Michel, who I think honestly might be better than Darrell Henderson, but is he really a guy I want to take as my RB2? You've got Leonard Fournette, Kenyon Drake, Zach Moss. I think of these players, Melvin Gordon would be the one that I want to take the most. But the running back well has really dried up. Mike Davis just went. He's a guy I would have liked. I think Ronald Jones and Trey Sermon are interesting options. I actually think Nyheim Hines is criminally underrated. And he might be a guy that I try to snatch up in the 7th round. I think Singletary is great depth for running back. I think Marquez Callaway is a good player. It's not great for running back at this point, so I think I'm really just going to have to look at like a PPR back. We just saw Lamar Jackson go. We just saw Mark Andrews go. So it'd be really nice here if there was a little bit of a quarterback run, but there probably won't be. There's still a lot of really good running backs and wide receivers. we're definitely going to have to look running back, even if the value's not there. Kyle Pitts just went. We're having a little tight end run here, starting with me. I took Hawkinson, Mike Davis got taken after that, and then Lamar, and then immediately Mark Jones, Mark Andrews, and Kyle Pitts went. That'll probably be the end of the tight end run, though, because I don't think there's any other tight ends within 20 picks of this one that you want to take. That is nice, though. That does make it more likely that we get one of these running backs that I'm actually interested in. I do like Damian Harris. Like, if I get Damian Harris as my running back, too, I think I'll feel pretty good about that. I just think that team's going to run the ball a lot. They're going to want to take some pressure off of Mac Jones. And now that, they don't have a mobile quarterback, that's even better for their running backs. I do think Ramondre Stevenson is going to be quite good, and James White's going to get his looks. But I think Damian Harris should be the every down back for that offense. Somebody's drafting a player that one guy has down as do not draft, and he's like, easy. Somebody just took Tom Brady, and then Kyler Murray went. Okay, this is what we wanted to see. We really wanted to see a tight end and quarterback run this round. We're probably going to get a solid wide receiver. So we did see Brandon Ayuk, T. Higgins, and Kareem Hunt go. Those guys had fallen past their ADP, so that's okay. I assure you that Kenny Golladay is going to fall quite far. Now, perfect scenario here, I get Robbie Anderson, and then I get Damian Harris. That would be a perfect scenario. But that would be just super, super lucky. I might like Juju. Jerry Jeudy's still there. Man, Jerry Jeudy would be really good too. Actually, it's a really tough decision between Robbie Anderson and Jerry Jeudy, because I think Robbie Anderson, wow, he took Kenny Golladay. I don't get that at all. Tonyan? Robert Tonyan? What? I don't understand. Robert Tonyan was not a guy that was even remotely on my radar at this point. But I guess this is right around, like, if you're waiting on a tight end, Tonyan had a 10 touchdown year last year, but I think he's bound to regress, because Aaron Rodgers is probably going to regress a little bit. But I don't know. I'm not sold on that Tonyan pick. But if he really wants to have a tight end, I get it. Man, I wasn't really intending to go full anchor back strategy here, but that's what we've done. It seems to be almost working out. Like, I think I have to take Damian Harris if I want him in this next pick, because the next best running back at that point is Raheem Mostert, Darrell Henderson, and Sony Michel. I don't think I want to be in the world of any of those running backs. Maybe I would want to pick up James Conner, Trey Sermon. Trey Sermon's probably a guy I'll want to look at in round 8. Juju Smith-Schuster just went. Let's see, how many picks are between? So there's 4 more picks, and then I pick. I'm pick 69. Haha, that's funny. And then I have to wait another 9. So I'm definitely taking Damian Harris if he's there. He could get sniped from me, and that would make me pretty sad. But then we are just gonna go all in on Trey Sermon. Like, we could maybe take Raheem Mostert and then just try to pick up Trey Sermon on the next pick. I don't really know anybody in this draft except for 2 people. And I don't know what the name for the second person is. So I really only know one person that's in this draft, like, as far as like being able to react to how they pick. Robbie Anderson went, and then Russell Wilson went right after him. Take some more quarterbacks. Man, it's going to be really hard to pass up Jerry Jeudy if he's still there. Oh, it's going to be so hard to pass him up. Do I like Damian Harris more than Jerry Jeudy? There's no way. There's no way. In a league where I'm starting 4 wide receivers? No. He's going to be my wide receiver 3. Jerry Jeudy is going to be my wide receiver 3 if I get him. Somebody said work called them. Oh no. I hope he didn't have to auto pick because of it. Yeah, so while these next 2 picks are happening, just so you guys know, I've got one draft. I got a dynasty startup draft on Friday that I'll be posting. Saturday, he took Chase Claypool. Okay, good. That's good. That's exciting for me. On Saturday, we have a redraft league that we're doing. And then I think I have my league where we draft defensive players on Saturday as well. So all of these posts are, or all of these drafts are going to be posted on the channel. So if you like watching these, feel free. I have different picks in most of them. But Lami just texted me that he found the Tom Brady fanboy. That was probably when Tom Brady got taken. That's funny. Normally Lami's the Tom Brady fanboy. But then Sunday we have our keeper league draft. I'm gonna have that one too, and I think that's all of my drafts this year. Maybe I'll post like some. Oh, is he gonna auto pick? Don't auto pick Damien Harris. Cortland Sutton. Okay, we're gonna take. This is risky, but I'm gonna take Jerry Jeudy. I think he's that good. I know we don't have another running back. I totally that's totally a thing to be concerned about. But there's so many running backs that I like that are being taken really low as far as an RB2. Being able to have I think Calvin Ridley, Terry McLaurin, and Jerry Jeudy could all be top 10 wide receivers this year. It's super. I think I'm really happy about this, and obviously if we get Damien Harris, that would be super cool. I don't know that it's going to happen. I may have just, if somebody takes Dak here and somebody takes a risk on Jamar Chase, and Lami might take Damien Harris, but I think he's staying away from all of the New England running backs. I think Lami might have just auto picked there. Did he? Can I see his next pick? No, he didn't. Okay, we're good. I do like the Odell pick there by him. Let's go look at his team. Does he have 2 running backs? He might not. He's the one I'm most worried about taking Damien Harris here. He's got Kamara and Gaskin, and then he's got Jefferson, Robertson, Deontay Johnson, Odell. He might take him, but he's probably going to go quarterback actually. It would actually surprise me very much if he didn't take, Dak Prescott if he's there. we triple sniped a guy. He was going to take Jeudy, Sutton, or Thomas, and he got snipe. He's also a Broncos fan, so that's particularly sad for him. All right, so Seminole Vescal took Dak Prescott. Man, I just really want Damien Harris to fall to me. I don't know though. If okay, Jamar Chase, yes, that's not Damien Harris. He might get sniped literally the pick before me if Lami doesn't take him here. Oh, I really, really want him. No, the one thing I think we have done, which I think is successful, like obviously we got Allen in the 4th round, but he's gonna be a significant upgrade over the average quarterback, I think. He did insane. He took Michael Thomas. Okay, just don't take Damien Harris. There's so many cool, awesome toys. Just take anybody that's not Damien Harris. This guy's got a taco. He's got Dalvin Cook, Javonte Williams, DK Metcalf, Keenan Allen, Adam Thielen, Logan Thomas. Take a quarterback. Take a quarterback. You need a quarterback. Yes! Oh, he took Justin Herbert. Let's go. Okay. Very excited about that. I really, really wanted Damian Harris as my running back too. I'm going to be targeting Ramondre Stevenson just in case he ends up taking Harris's job, but I don't really think he will unless there's an injury situation. And if there's an injury, then I'll have Ramondre Harris. But I'm very hype. Now I can look towards Raheem Mostert and Trey Sermon to maybe take as a package in my next 2 picks. I also really like Corey Davis, and he's coming up on the board. Curtis Samuel, I feel like, is going to have more value than anybody expects. Mike Williams is okay, but I'm not really a huge fan. I like Shoney Michel. He might be really good in that Rams offense, so that's a guy I would be looking at. I also really like Jalen Waddle. I think they're going to design a lot of plays for him to take pressure off Tua and just let him do work with his speed. Noah Fant went. Aaron Rodgers went after I picked Harris, and then Noah Fant went, and then Brandon Cooks went. Those are all solid picks. I'm probably staying away from Noah Fant. I think their wide receivers are just super talented, and I'm not sure how much the tight end is going to get work in that offense because of that. But Noah Fant's really talented. The other thing is Noah Fant gets hurt a lot. He really struggles to stay healthy. But, I mean, I like him as a player. David said, I need to pay more attention. I didn't realize that I have drafted a running back and wide receiver from Cincy and Carolina. Which team is he? He is Florida State Seminole Vesicle. So he's got McCaffrey and DJ Moore, and then he's got Mixon and Jamar Chase, which, I mean, it's fine. That's not going to hurt him, I don't think. Obviously, having McCaffrey is cool. So Devontae Smith got taken after Brandon Cooks, and then Marquise Brown. Marquise Brown is a guy I'm staying away from in every draft. He really just looks like the bustiest of busts. Like he's a solid player, but for fantasy purposes, he just doesn't get it done. He's a deep threat, so if you get him late enough, but I don't think round 7 is late enough. Like I would easily rather have Antonio Brown, Curtis Samuel, Sony Michel, Jalen Waddle. Probably not Henry Ruggs or Leonard Fournette or Kenyon Drake or Zach Moss. None of those guys I like. But yeah, I would take him over a couple of the guys that are available right now. Tyler Boyd went right after Marquise Brown. I like Tyler Boyd, but I feel like T. Higgins is going to be the number 1 in that offense, and then Tyler Boyd and Jamar Chase are going to split up the rest. Maybe if Jamar Chase has even more drop issues, Tyler Boyd will benefit from that. But yeah, definitely what we're hoping to have happen here is to have either Sony Michel or Melvin Gordon fall to us. And I'm not particularly excited about either one of those, but yeah. What's up? What's up? Dom? Did you call me, Dom? You're drinking the Diet Coke. Yeah. Okay, lost my train of thought. What happened? Henry Ruggs went. Raheem Mostert went. Jalen Hurts went. Did Sony Michel? No. Okay, Sony Michel's still there. I was scrolled down and I didn't even realize. That's funny. So yeah, Raheem Mostert got taken. So that's a guy I was kind of looking at, but I think I want Trey Sermon instead. Honestly, this pick might just end up being Sony Michel and Trey Sermon. Jalen Hurts just went. Joe Burrow just went. We might see another quarterback run. I could see myself taking a couple other people in front of Trey Sermon, but I definitely don't think I will get him if I don't take him now. If I don't take him now, I can get Hines potentially and Devin Singletary. Both of those guys are late round running backs that I think are super potentially valuable at their ADP. Because even if Singletary is not the main back in that offense, he will be the pass catching back. Zach Moss was not good catching the ball last year. Same thing with Nyheim Hines. He will be the pass catching back. He will get touches. He's one of the more athletic running backs on that team. Somebody's like, I don't want any of these players left. There's so many good players. How do you not want any of them? I think Will Fuller's a great pick too because he'll be suspended one game, but then he'll come back and he'll light it up. Brown was a really good pick there. I think Gallup's a really solid player. Deebo Samuel is going to get you some good weeks. I'm not a big fan of DJ Chark. I like Marvin Jones. I think Laviska Shenault and Marvin Jones are the two wide receivers to own in Jacksonville. But you don't really know. You don't really know what to make of Jacksonville. Any of that. Like I'm like if I were gonna pick a wide receiver, I would probably take Laviska Shenault because I think they're gonna design plays specifically for him. But it would be tough. So Sammy Watkins just went, and then Deebo Samuel just went. Those guys are both fine. Sammy Watkins is not a guy that I'm particularly interested in targeting. I know he's getting a lot of hype, or he was getting a lot of hype in camp. Somebody said he was the best wide receiver on their team, and he probably is, and he'll probably have a great week one, and then he'll disappear like he does every year. Laviska Shenault just got taken by at round 8, pick 6. I think that's reasonable. I think these next two picks should be like William Fuller and then like Corey Davis. If Corey Davis is available, I'm probably going to take him. His connection with Zach Wilson is insane. He had something like 17 routes ran or 17 routes ran in the preseason games he played, and he was targeted on like 13 of them by Zach Wilson. Like, if that doesn't tell you how much that Zach Wilson likes Corey Davis, I don't know what the heck does. So he's a guy that I hope falls to slots. That would be really cool. If nobody likes any of the players here, that's confusing to me. Oh yeah, something about this league. There's no kicker, which I'm on board for. I've been thinking about doing it in my league for a long time. Okay, so he auto-picked Will Fuller, which is fine. Or maybe it was a Q thing. So come on, just don't take Corey Davis, bro. I'm not going to relax until you pick anybody that's not Corey Davis. Because that would be super cool to have Corey Davis as my fourth wide receiver. Let's go, Michael Gallup. All right, so we're gonna lock in Corey Davis immediately, and then our next target is probably Sony Michel, but we could consider Jalen Waddle. But I think I need to start taking high potential running backs, and then I guess the question is, do I take the potential of Michel, or do I go for Trey Sermon? And I don't know what the answer to that is. I guess it kind of depends on how Darrell Henderson is doing from his injury, but I don't think there's a real update. AJ Dillon just got taken. So it is kind of the time where people start taking like handcuffs and stuff. There might be another little tight end run. Man, I'm really tempted to dip in. Like, if I can get 2 of these running backs, I'll feel really, really good about it. But, like, maybe Sony Michel is still better than... Because, like, you think about Sony Michel, he's had, like, 900 yards, and... So last year he got hurt. But the 2 years before that, he had 931 yards and 6 touchdowns and 912 yards and 7 touchdowns. And he wasn't the feature back. If he ends up being the feature back there in Los Angeles, like, I think he's going to have an insane year. Even if he's just in a timeshare, like, even if he just gets, like, 40 or 50 more carries than he got in New England. Now, his health is a risk too. Henderson just got taken. But I don't know, man. I really like what Sony Michel brings to the running game. But the other question is, like, who's going to be the pass catching back? Because Sony Michel is not really a pass catcher. Neither is Darrell Henderson. They've got Jake Funk and Xavier Jones, maybe one of those guys, but I'm not sold on them because their tape in the preseason was not very good. I was hoping one of them would be good so that I could take them in like one of the dynasty leagues and have like a future star, but they just weren't very good. With that being said, I definitely am not opposed to reaching pretty deep down for a couple of players here, but I also am staring at Jalen Waddle, Jarvis Landry, Darrell Henderson, Leonard Fournette. Those were the last 3 picks. Not in that order, though. It was Henderson and then Landry and then Fournette. Now we got Lami on the clock. Let's see what he goes with. I'm struggling, man. I want Jalen Waddle and I also want Trey Sermon. And I don't think if I take Jalen Waddle here, Trey Sermon will still be there. But do I think that James White and Phillip Lindsay and where's Devin Singletary? Did he get drafted and I just missed it? I thought he was in this range. Nyheim Hines, yeah, there's these guys. I think I can get away with it and still get a solid backup running back. Man. Okay, so here's the thing that I need to really consider. Like, if I take Jalen Waddle, is he potentially starting week 1? That's a tough question to answer because he's probably not. If I take one of these running backs, are they potentially starting for me week 1? Again, probably not. So this is just strictly like a bench player that we're looking for. So the question is, who would I rather have on my bench? Jalen Waddle or... Okay, so they took DJ Chark. And then there's also still Sony Michel right there. And I just don't know how I feel about that. I think... I'm super torn between Trey Sermon and Jalen Waddle, but I think because Jalen Waddle's going to start right away, I'm going to take Waddle, and then we're just going to hope that we get some combination of Singletary, Hines, and Phillip Lindsay in this next round. Kenyon Drake went immediately after I took Jalen Waddle. I genuinely think Jalen Waddle could be great. He could be the Swiss Army knife that makes that offense so much more dynamic than it was last year, particularly with Tua, because it was pretty dynamic with Ryan Tannehill. But I think Waddle is going to be, if he's not the wide receiver 2 or 3, like he's going to be the slot guy. I think Fuller's going to be on the outside, Parker's going to be on the outside, and then Jalen Waddle's going to be that dude in the slot, and then Preston Williams will be a solid 4th wide receiver for them. Kind of sad for Preston Williams. I really liked him a lot last couple of years, but injuries have just absolutely derailed him. I feel like picks should be relatively fast here, but I also have a really good idea of who I want at each pick. So when people don't know what they want, I'm like, hurry up. But that guy also auto-picked. He auto-picked Curtis Samuel, though, so that's a good pick. Hi, this Lami. Let's also start thinking about Bucks defense. There's the defense guy. I'm not sure. I mean, it's not super early for the defense, but it's pretty early, especially with how not deep the benches are in this league. We only have 5 bench slots, and I guess it makes sense because we have to roster so many players, but it's going to be really tough when people start getting injured. I think there's 2 injured reserve spots, though. Sony Michel just went. I'm hoping that I don't regret taking Waddle over Michel here. But there's just so many running backs coming up that I really like, not even in this tier of running backs, in this next tier of running backs. I really like Singletary. Honestly, I should cue Hines up because that's who I want. That's who I want to make it to me is Nyheim Hines. But I like Sermon. I like Ronald Jones. I like Devin Singletary. Outside of those 4, though, there's not really a ton of running back. Obviously, I don't like David Johnson. I'm okay with James White, but I'm really looking for Ramondre Stevenson. I think I'm going to take Tua as a backup quarterback to potentially stack with Waddle as well because I think they're going to be really good. And normally I wouldn't really bother with a backup quarterback. Well, yeah, I take it back. I should not draft a quarterback because I literally will never start anybody over Josh Allen pending injury And if he gets hurt, I can just pick up another quarterback. It's a 1 QB league. Nobody else is rostering 2 quarterbacks, probably. Jonnu Smith just went. I really don't like Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry in New England. I don't know. I think they're going to take targets away from each other. I think they're both going to deal with injury. Like, they are definitely tight ends I'm staying away from. I think Tyrell Williams is possibly a sneaky good pick. Marquez Callaway is going to be really good too, especially until man, that throw from Jameis to Marquez Callaway in the preseason, such a dime, such a good throw, such a good catch. They're a really exciting combination. For anybody that doesn't have a quarterback, though, there's some really awesome quarterbacks available too. But I think most people took one. James Conner just went. Those are. I'm glad people are valuing those running backs over the guys that I have highlighted right now, because I really want 2 of these guys on my bench.
Guess they had their eye on him too.
Oh man, somebody took Trey Sermon. Okay, that's okay. Honestly, out of the 3 that I have highlighted, the 3 running backs, Sermon was probably my least. Is probably like number 4 on my list, because I know he's not going to start right away. My number 1 is definitely Nyheim Hines. So if he doesn't make it to me, I'll be a little bit sad. My next pick after would be Devin Singletary. I think Ronald Jones is going to be good, but I also feel like he's the second. Like, Giovanni Bernard's going to play a lot because Tom Brady wants somebody who can catch the ball, and unfortunately Fournette and Jones just couldn't catch the ball last year. And I do have some concerns that, Fournette's going to take a bunch of carries away from Ronald Jones, but he's the younger guy. He's definitely the more talented guy at this stage of their careers. So I don't really see how he doesn't, but I definitely would rather have Hines and Singletary. Obviously, I probably won't get both. Dallas Goedert just got taken. Mike Williams just got taken. These are good. I'm hoping people will value Zach Moss over Devin Singletary. But, I mean, last year they didn't really run the ball very well. Jamal Williams got taken, which I'm cool with. Maybe he had Deontay Swift. And he wanted to handcuff him. I don't really think Jamal Williams is a particularly good pick this year. I think he's going to be solid, but Swift's injury is a little bit overblown, I think. He looked fine in practice. I follow a few of the beat reporters for the Lions, and, a guy that is typically very skeptical of things that posts a lot for the Detroit Lions is really not worried about Swift based on how he was playing in practice. I do think that they'll ease him back if he has any potential issues, but I don't know. I'm not as worried about Swift. I think he'll play. I didn't think there was any reason to play him in the preseason, and I think that's why they didn't. But I think he'll be ready to go for week 1. And if he's not, maybe we just look to move him because it's getting to that point. Okay, so Zach Moss and Melvin Gordon just went. That's really good for me. Those are 2 running backs that are not the running backs that I want. Or really the running back that I want, which is Nyheim Hines. So we gotta think about my team name. We got Josh Allen, we got Zeke, we got Damian Harris, we got Ridley, we got McLaurin, Jerry Jeudy, TJ Hawkinson, Corey Davis. I don't know. We do have Waddle. Actually, okay, this is going to be the team that I named Waddle Vision, because I named my Dynasty team that we did the rookie draft for the other day, Waddle Vision, hoping that I could make a trade because a guy was interested in Hawkinson, so I was going to potentially make a trade to get Pitts and then also get his first rounder so I could take Jalen Waddle at pick 11. But Kyle Pitts ended up going first overall, which I thought was crazy, but it ruined the entire thing. We got somebody taking a Bills defense, and then somebody took Cole Beasley. These are really good picks for, people staying away from my guys. I'm probably going to look late in the draft for Ty Johnson. He's the guy that's projecting to be the starter alongside Tevin Coleman in Jets camp. That's probably a guy I'll look for late in the draft. I might pick up Ramondre Stevenson as well.
Guess they had their eye on him too.
They sniped Ronald Jones for me. That's okay. Just don't take... Yes, they took Mike Gesicki. Okay, so we're going to snap up Nyheim Hines so fast. We'll probably get sniped from both of the next two guys that we wanted, but like Nyheim Hines could potentially start immediately for me. Now, obviously, he and Damian Harris have the same bye week, but they're in week 14, so who cares? My team's going to look so different by week 14, it just doesn't matter. So now we still want Singletary, but if he gets sniped away from us, we're pretty comfortable taking Marquez Callaway instead. Marquez Callaway is not a guy that I'll really want to start week 1, but if we see enough from him and Jameis, it might be he could put up Michael Thomas numbers. It's just he's a young guy. He may not be as talented as Michael Thomas, but if he's the favorite in that offense, they're gonna, Jameis Winston is going to throw the ball. Like he is an aggressive quarterback. Peyton's going to put him in less situations to make mistakes, but he's still going to throw the ball. And he can throw a really pretty ball. So I would be happy to take Marquez Callaway, but I do need running back depth. So Devin Singletary here is a big target for me. And then we probably want to consider our defense after that. But I don't know that I will. There's just so many defenses that I think are really good outside of like the top 5 or 6 that people tend to draft. Obviously, Washington is probably the best defense in the league. It's definitely the youngest defense. I guess it's definitely the most talented defense. Maybe not necessarily the youngest, but they have a lot of draft picks invested in that defense. I just think the football team's a really, really good team this year. Ryan Tannehill went after David Johnson, who went after I picked Nyheim Hines.
Guess they had their eye on him too.
So I got sniped. Marquez Callaway got taken. So that's only a snipe if Devin Singletary gets taken away from me here. And if Singletary gets taken, I could go for a guy like Michael Carter, but I just don't think he's going to end up starting. I could go for a guy like Darnell Mooney, who looks like he's going to be really good. Tyrell Williams is probably an underrated fantasy player. He is the clear-cut number 1 wide receiver in Detroit. Amon-Ra St. Brown and TJ Hawkins. Well, I should say, yeah, he's the number 1 wide receiver. He's not the number 1 pass catcher. Obviously Hawkinson is. And I probably don't actually want to stack any Lions wide receiver with Hawkinson, but I could think about it. But there's other guys that I would actually really want to take here. This guy took Chuba Hubbard. So people are looking towards like handcuffs at this point. I could honestly take James White here if I wanted to, but I really don't want to take him and Harris. Like, I think James White will be the least used of the running backs. Michael Pittman's here. That could be interesting. I don't like Jacoby Myers very much. Yeah, it's like Darnell Mooney. Like, if Singletary gets taken, it's probably just like Darnell Mooney or... like I said, I could consider a backup. Oh, well, there's Phillip Lindsay, actually. Those are both guys. Like, Phillip Lindsay and Devin Singletary feel very similar to me, but Lindsay's definitely worse because there's more running backs in that offense that are quite good. Okay, Gronk got taken, so just don't take Singletary. We're good. Can we get through this whole draft without getting, like, super sniped? That would be super cool. Like, obviously, Callaway was taken away, but that was my backup pick. So, like, the worst thing that happens is my backup pick gets sniped. I will be really happy. Because after that, running backs, like, I just wouldn't take one. Like, I would look to trade for a running back at this stage if I really wanted to upgrade. Man, Washington defense. Well, how have the Bills defense and the Bucks defense been taken, but not Washington's? That confuses me. Still not going to take a defense here, but I'm hoping that I get Singletary. Because then I'm not worried about running back. I'll have anchor backed to the point where I feel really comfortable about my running backs in general.
Guess they had their eye on him too.
No, I wanted him. Okay, so that means both of our picks did get sniped, and that's okay. We'll just have to figure something else out here. I think Darnell Mooney might be the move. We go down for other running backs. We got Tyson Williams, who might be okay, but I don't think I really want to use a roster spot on him. I got Giovanni Bernard, who might be an all right guy to take, but I'm not super sold. I think at this point, since both of our picks got taken, and we're scrolling this far down anyway, we might as well just lock down Washington's defense. just because I know I'm gonna come down the board a lot anyway to pick my next players. Like this, I'm getting Ramondre Stevenson. He will be on my team, unless somebody reaches really far down for him. He's a guy I just like a lot. Ty Johnson is a guy that I'm interested in. I don't know why he's projected to do so poorly when he is literally projecting to be one of the top 2 running backs. He had, I think, the stronger camp out of. I mean, Tevin Coleman had a pretty good camp too, but yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I definitely don't. I kind of want to take Tua only because I think he's gonna have such a good year, but I took Josh Allen, so like using another draft pick on Tua just doesn't make any sense to me. Even though I think he's gonna be a great player. I don't think I want anybody this low. I'm just looking just to check out. I think Donovan Peoples-Jones is going to have kind of a breakout year this year. Jacoby Myers went after I picked the Washington defense. Mecole Hardman went after Jacoby Myers. Sam Darnold, I think, is going to be really good, but this league, you probably don't need him. I don't know if he's going to be in the top 12 quarterbacks. He might be in the top 18. I think he's going to have a good year. I just don't think he's going to be much better than that. Quintez Cephas is interesting because I think he has obviously the Lions wide receiver room is wide open. There's plenty of guys who could take that job or take the number 1 target in that offense that's not named TJ. Michael Pittman just got taken. I think that's solid. But I think we're just looking at Philip Lindsay here now. We probably could have considered taking Lindsay over the football team, but honestly, I don't know how I feel about Lindsay, really. I want to believe that he's going to do well. Devontae Parker just went, and then Michael Carter. That's pretty good. I'm surprised nobody's picked up Matthew Stafford. I think he's going to have a great year. Yeah, because there's really just not a running back. I could try to take Tony Pollard just in case. I guess I should be taking Tony Pollard, actually. He's my handcuff. We should queue him up. So we'll probably just take Philip Lindsay and then Tony Pollard and then take a wide receiver after that. Because, I'm not going to solve out my quarterback or my tight end unless there's an injury. So realistically, I should go for Ramondre Stevenson. Duh. That will be my last pick of the draft, is Ramondre Stevenson. James White just got taken. That's pretty good. Yeah, so just another reminder, this will be posted probably, today is Thursday, I think. No, today is Wednesday. So this draft will be posted on Thursday or Friday of this week. So you guys can keep an eye out either the day after or 2 days after this comes out. For more drafts, we've got one on Friday, 2 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday, and all of them will be posted on this channel. They're all different leagues too, so it's going to be a lot of fun to go through. One's a keeper, one's a dynasty, one's a redraft, and one's a individual defensive player draft. Speaking of draft, after James White, Ebron went, Stafford went, Jalen Reagor went, Nelson Aguilar went, Tyler Higbee went, Trevor Lawrence went, and then Austin Hooper went. There's a lot of picks. Snap, snap, snap really fast. So I think I'm probably good on wide receiver here. I have 5 of them. And all 5 of them could really start. So I think I have to go Philip Lindsay and Tony Pollard and then Ramondre Stevenson. I like Darnell Mooney, though. But he also probably will get sniped from me. He's probably one of the better wide receivers available. More proven. Elijah Moore's there, but he's not proven. There's also just Tua looking at me bro, I'm going to be so good this year. I'm I know Tua, but I got my boy Josh Allen. J.D. McKissick just went. I really don't think J.D. McKissick's going to do a whole lot of anything. I think he's a good player, but I think Gibson is going to dominate touches out of that backfield. I think we'll see 7 to 7 to 9 touches a game for McKissick, if we're lucky.
Guess they had their eye on him too.
Oh, somebody took my handcuff. All right, well, so I can't get Pollard, so that's awkward. So we're just gonna take Darnell Mooney here, because I was gonna take Pollard, but I mean now I'm just gonna take Mooney. And then we'll take Philip Lindsay, and then we'll finish it off with Ramondre Stevenson. If he gets drafted, I'll probably take like Rondale Moore or Terrace Marshall or just some young guy with upside. I'm not interested in Justin Fields or Trey Lance because no matter, even if they do start, I'm going to have a better quarterback than them because I have Josh Allen. Ty Johnson could be a guy to take if Ramondre Stevenson gets taken as well. After I picked Darnell Mooney, Evan Ingram went. Oh, Tyson Williams went right before Tony Pollard as well. Then I took Darnell Mooney, Evan Ingram went, and then Alexander Madison went, which is interesting because I was going to say it's Lami's handcuff, but he didn't take Dalvin Cook too. He took Kamara. So that's Dalvin Cook's handcuff. Although I don't really like drafting Alexander Madison in general because I feel like even when he's filled in for Dalvin Cook, he hasn't been super great. So I don't really see the upside there. Right, a lot of people haven't taken their defenses yet, so there's going to be a lot of defenses taken in this part of the draft. Less chance to get sniped. 3 picks, though. I could very easily have Philip Lindsay sniped away from me. If he does get sniped away from me, though, I don't think I'm super worried about it. Like, I only have to start 2 running backs. And, we'll figure out who it's going to start between Damian Harris and Nyheim Hines closer to week 1. I think I said that the Broncos defense just went. But if I didn't say it, somebody just took the Broncos defense, which I think is great. I think their defense could be, I don't know if it's going to be the best fantasy defense, but man, that defense has got talent stacked across the board. The only thing I could see happening is the quarterback play putting the defense in bad positions, but, we'll see. Zach Ertz just got picked up. I think that's a sneaky good pick because it seems like he's repaired all relationships with the Eagles. And that honestly is it probably doesn't do much for Ertz. It just hurts Dallas Goedert. Somebody said, F me, I picked the wrong player. Oh no. That's probably the guy who took Ertz, but I still think Ertz is a solid pick. I'm excited to see the rankings of all of these teams. I think it's Rate My Fantasy Football Team or Fantasy Football Pros. I don't know. I forget who does it, but you can put your league in and they will give everybody grades.
They had their eye on him
it's
too.
Super cool. All right, Philip Lindsay got sniped for me. That's unfortunate. Oh, it was Lami. Elijah Moore just got picked up. So at this point, I don't know, what running backs I would really want. I don't think, maybe Carlos Hyde gets some work, but it's really just going to be the James Robinson show again. Russell Gage is solid. I think Jamison Crowder and Terrace Marshall are pretty good. I like Rondale Moore, but there's too many mouths to feed there. I could take a flyer on Giovanni Bernard. I could take Tevin Coleman. I could take a super flyer on Amon-Ra St. Brown. I don't think I want to take a running back just to take a running back. I'm going to go ahead and just go for the flyer. We're going to take Amon-Ra for the potential upside. And then we'll take a running back with our final pick. Obviously, we're just going to try to take Ramondre Stevenson. He could get sniped for me, but I find it really hard to believe. You also might question why I took Amon-Ra St. Brown over Tyrell Williams because he's still there. And I think it's just because I don't know if anybody thinks Tyrell Williams is going to stay healthy for more than 4 weeks at a time. I definitely don't think he's talented enough to go up against number 1 corners. If he's going up against Green Bay, Jair Alexander, he's not going to beat him. It's going to have to be somebody else. I forget exactly. We play the NFC or the AFC North. I just think there's too many good defenses, and I don't think Williams is going to be great. But I also think Williams depends a lot more on Goff. If Goff throws all over the place and just lights it up, Williams will be great. Amon-Ra will be better if Goff is more of a manager and throws the intermediate passes and stuff. And I think that's really what we're heading for as an offense, especially this year. Maybe not in the future when we get some stud young quarterback that can make every throw. But for now, I think he's just going to do a lot of short throws, a lot of the stuff that he did in Los Angeles. And that's why I think that Amon-Ra St. Brown is good to have like Cooper Kupp-like numbers. I think it's going to be Cephas on the outside, Tyrell Williams on the outside, and then Cooper Kupp and TJ Hawkinson are going to eat over the middle and in the slot. I think that's what's going to happen. Also, wouldn't be surprised to see them do some plays to like screens to Amon-Ra, because he's pretty shifty. He's a good route runner as well. I'm just really excited for football, specifically Lions football, because I'm a Lions fan. After I picked Amon-Ra, we saw Russell Gage go. We saw Malcolm Brown. Then we saw Giovanni Bernard, which are all reasonable picks at this point. I hope people have sort of an idea of who they're going to take here, because I don't want this last round to take another 20 minutes, but it might. The one nice thing about these is I don't have to edit them. I can just post them, because I think it's more fun to see the entire process of the draft rather than try to edit away half of the stuff I do. And it's obviously there might be a couple of points like when I thought somebody was talking to me that are a little boring, or when I looked at my phone, but I think for the most part I kept it interesting and I kept talking, and it'll be cool. Zach Wilson just went. I don't really think there's any value in Zach Wilson in this type of league. You're only starting 12 quarterbacks unless he has an insane year. He's not going to even come close to the top 12 quarterbacks. But I guess, when you get to a certain point, flyers or thing. But with only a 5-person bench, I think you just can't roster another quarterback unless an injury happens and your quarterback's not out for there. Like, if Josh Allen were to pull a hammy or something, obviously I would pick up another quarterback and drop somebody else. But in a world where I just don't have a bench, for me, because of how many players we need to roster in this league, I would probably have added a couple bench slots. But because we don't have them, I just think you can't afford a backup tight end or quarterback. It's just not possible. Okay, Tyrell Williams finally went. It was probably an auto pick, but it might not have been. We've got Cole the Cavalry doing their second to last pick. At least some of these guys should be taking a defense, unless they end up just not taking a defense so they can have an extra positional player to see if anybody goes down in practice or something. There's 2 auto picks in the draft left. So Carlos Hyde went. I think that's a solid choice. I don't really think he's going to get a lot of work, but I mean, he did play with Urban Meyer, so it's possible. In college, I'm trying to say. So I think I'm going to be pretty safe. Knock on wood. I think I'm going to be pretty safe to get Ramondre Stevenson, which is pretty exciting. If he does somehow get sniped, I'll just take Terrace Marshall or another wide receiver. But that's definitely the guy I want to take. Maybe I would consider Darrington Evans, but I don't think so. I could actually... We have IR slots. So I actually could draft Bateman, and then immediately after the draft, put him on injured reserve, and then pick up Ramondre Stevenson from free agency. And I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. Because he'll be on IR for 6 weeks. And then I'll be able to pick up Stevenson when the draft's over. That's what I'm going to do. We're gonna do some true to the NFL type moves. Watch somebody else snipe me and do it before me. That would be pretty funny. Yeah, because there's no other guys down here that I really like a ton. Or at all. Paris Campbell just went. Steelers defense. Matt Ryan went after Carlos Hyde. I think Tua should be gone at this point. I think Tua's going to have a top 12 season. They just put too many weapons around him. You know, they don't have the best offensive line in the world, but it's okay. If they just generate quick, like if they get him to a point where he gets the ball out quickly, and you know only take shots when it's a bit of a surprise. You know, if they develop play action, I think he'll be really really good this year. I think it's fun that week 1 we get to see Mac Jones versus Tua. That's gonna be a great time. Ravens defense just went. Dolphins defense just went. I think most of these guys have to take like defense. Somebody took Mac Jones, which again, that's probably your backup quarterback. Let's go check VD. No, this guy has 3 quarterbacks on his roster. Yeah, that's a hell of a choice. Like, obviously, no hate. He probably just wants to see if either one of them explode, but he's also got Patrick Mahomes, so I really don't understand why he even drafted a single other quarterback. He says that was for Tata, so maybe there's something that I just don't know about him and Tata, but I think we're going to go ahead and pick up. Did somebody take Rashad Bateman? No, they didn't. Where's he at? Wide receiver. Rashad Bateman, please. There he is. Okay. So we're drafting Rashad Bateman. We can put him on IR immediately, and then we'll pick up Ramondre Stevenson. I could just leave the draft now, but I'm going to sign out and see the last couple picks before I leave. And then we'll just know that I'm going to get another player on my squad, and it will be Ramondre Stevenson. But yeah, I appreciate you guys watching and hanging out for the draft. If you made it the entire way through, I super appreciate it. And yeah, keep an eye out for more drafts all weekend. It is, I tend to do most of my drafts as late as possible so that just to, it mitigates or eliminates it doesn't eliminate, but it mitigates the possibilities of people getting massively screwed when people go down for the season, such as J.K. Dobbins or something like that. Looks like this guy's going to end up auto-picking his last pick, which he took the Patriots defense. And then we got Lami's final pick. I'll probably tomorrow do a breakdown of each team and give them rankings as well. So the Browns defense was Lami's last pick. I won't have a co-host because both my co-hosts will be busy, but it might be fun to give a grade to each of these teams, give a breakdown, say how I felt about them. The final pick he took was Devontae Booker. We're not going to share our top picks, but we are going to go to, get the rankings of the teams and send that to people. But thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. This has been the draft. My team ends up with Josh Allen, Ezekiel Elliott, Damian Harris, Calvin Ridley, Terry McLaurin, Jerry Jeudy, TJ Hawkinson, Corey Davis, Washington football team defense, Jalen Waddle, Nyheim Hines, Darnell Mooney, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Rashad Bateman. I'm a big fan of the team, and I appreciate you guys being here. I will see you guys in the next cast.